Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not so serious people.
Hey Max, how you feeling?
Well, now I'm feeling great. How are you feeling?
Are you?
Yeah,
I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling still crappy, which I'm glad to hear that you're great because that's promising that this isn't a forever now.
No, it's not. Although, who knows? I mean, there's so much stuff that you worry about, long-term stuff, and like, I have you lost? Oh, let's back up.
Let's give some context. I feel like they have already used context clues based on whatever awesome thumbnail that I'm. Oh, you have to send me a picture of you looking sick.
Just take a screenshot. We both have got COVID. Is that fair to say?
Yes, COVID-19.
Oh, COVID
in 2022.
Yeah. No, I was 21.
Wow.
So you almost made it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's crazy that it's been this long.
Wait, no, actually my symptoms showed up in 21, the 30th. So 2 days before.
Bummer. Mine, I got it right before Christmas. So I missed Christmas. And that was a real bummer because that was 2 years in a row of Zoom Christmas.
Did you actually go on Zoom?
Yeah. Well, I have this huge family back in Boston. So Christmas is always the sort of pinnacle of the holidays every year. And, you know, my mom has 9 brothers and sisters, and they all have 20, 30 cousins. And I have, you know what I mean? Everybody's got a wife and a dog and a husband or whatever. And then there's always some sort of out-of-towners who are like, yeah, come on in. So it's ended up being at least 50 people every time. And then this year was a small one. It was only 20 people.
Is it because the other 30 were quarantined?
Yeah.
Wow.
So one way or another, I didn't go because I had COVID. My cousin didn't go because she had COVID. My aunt got sick. Then her whole family didn't want to go, and that's a group of 8 or whatever. And then we had sort of elderly people who were worried, and one thing after another. And it was annoying because 2 years ago we did a Zoom Christmas, and it sucked. But it was look at how unique this is. Yeah. Look at how funny. And we did this, and I ended up doing I made everybody send me video clips, and I did All I Want for Christmas Is You lip sync video.
Oh.
So everyone in the family did,
oh my God,
one line of the song, and it was a really funny video, and it was great.
That's freaking adorable. You are the multimedia guy in the family, of
right,
course.
Of course. They're like, well, I don't know what computers, ask Max. And I'm like, I'm not the computer guy. I have younger cousins, and they know how to use Snapchat like years before I knew what Snapchat was. You know what I mean? So it's like, but it ended up working out really well because we usually sit around and we sing carols and we do Bible readings and all this stuff. And so it's like a real thing. And so last year it was like, this is so silly, ha ha ha. And then this year we did the same thing. We didn't do the video, and it wasn't quite as prepared. It was a lot of like last minute cancellations versus everybody knew in 2019, everyone knew that there was no Christmas. 2020, 2020, everybody knew there was no Christmas. 2021, everyone was like, we're back. Just kidding, we're not. So anyway, I missed Christmas. I was really bummed about it. And then I was also bummed because I'm Zooming Christmas with everybody, but it's 3:00 here, so it's bright out. I just had a sandwich. It's like Christmas 70 lunch.
Degrees.
Yeah, 70 degrees. And then everyone else is in their sweaters and masks singing Christmas carols and doing all sorts of stuff. So anyway, it was a bit of a...
I'm shocked that you never told me you have a theater family.
We all sing. None of us are very good. In fact, one of us is very good. 2 of us are very good, father-daughter. So that's kind of whatever. It's cheating. The rest of us, 98% of us, are terrible singers, but we're loud You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you give my uncle enough some bongos, and he'll go to town and do the percussion on the percussion on what's a Silent Night is it's a real curveball on that one. So that was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Not so silent.
Silent Night. You're like, all right, Joe, just chill. And then
you
we
missed
do
out on that.
we close out with Feliz Navidad. And the fun part about Feliz Navidad is, well, there's two things. There's a couple of things. One is there's only like 7 words in the whole song. Feliz Navidad, Prospero año y felicidad. 6 words. And then the way the song goes is there's no like, it's just sort of one verse and you just keep going. And so
I just thought I didn't know the rest of the song, but that's it.
Whoever's in charge is like, Feliz, Feliz Navidad. And you're like, okay, what is this, a 25-minute song? And so it's usually whoever's running the show that year just keeps us going until people are like, all right, we got it. Feliz Navidad. Enough. Lo siento, we're done.
Wow. Wait, you did it over Zoom though? What about the delay? It's impossible to play music remotely.
Well, that's what's fun about being there. So we always had a couple people, now, almost everyone lives in Massachusetts. A couple families, like one family always lives in LA even before I moved here. And then another family, they sort of moved to Florida. And then, there's always like one or two groups or one or two laptop or iPad set up with somebody else. And so that's what was fun about being there in person, especially because we also, the other one we do is we sing the 12 days of Christmas, and every family does a verse because there's 10 families, and then there's at least two other groups that we
can't imagine 50 people being on board with this. There's no one that's like, can we get to the wine, or kids that are wanting to play video games?
Yeah, and we stamped that out pretty quick. This is family time, you little twerp. Why don't you shut up and sing about Lords of Leapin' or whatever. So anyway, it is fun because we do it's like, it's not a round, but it's a each group does its own verse or number, and then there's a pause, and then there's a 6 geese a laying through the through the iPad or whatever. So it is really fun typically.
That's funny.
So this year they didn't include the iPad or the computer people as a thing. I just sort of I was a spectator, and frankly, for most of it, I was a spectator of like looking up my grandma's nostrils because somebody handed her the iPad with me on it, and she's like, "Okay, thanks, Max. Well, good to see you," and then just puts it down, and I'm like, "Wow, I see a ceiling and a little bit of her nose." So it's like mostly an audio Christmas. But it was so it was a super bummer, but. Frankly, my grandma's 99. I have some other old-ish, nobody else is 99, but I have some other old-ish people in my family. Impressive. I have some autoimmune people in my family. I'm not trying to cough on anybody and murder anybody. You can't murder via exhale or whatever. So I was, it was a bummer, but it was sort of is what it is. It was like another year of, I guess we're not doing real classic Christmas.
Right. Oh God, what about this year? Who freaking knows?
I know. Well, you did go home for Christmas, or do you think you think you got on the plane back? That travel sounds like it was terrible this year.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy because the day I landed, it was early in the morning, and it was basically a red eye. Not basically, it was a red eye. So I landed early in the morning, and I just slept on the plane, which was definitely not enough, according to Jeff and Rye's sleep.
My 8 sleep has been my biggest cheerleader lately.
Yeah, given those
your heart rate's getting lower. Your HRV is way better. I'm feeling better rested. I'm like, actually, I guess. Yeah, sure. Now I am. Placebo. Now that you mentioned it. So you slept a red eye. So how long what is it? Oh, you didn't go to Pittsburgh. You went to
Pittsburgh. Yeah, I went to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. So what is that?
So-
4-5 hours?
Yeah, because we had a connecting flight. Oh, this was funny.
You did a red
This
eye
is what gave
connecting
me-
flight? Oh my
Yeah.
God. Brutal.
So we landed in Arizona, and
Nice.
that flight was late. And so we had 20 minutes to get 0.5 miles, which, no, wait, not 20 minutes. Sorry. 5 minutes to get 0.5 miles before. And in that 5-minute period, the door shuts. That's not like
course.
starting to board. That's like you're cut off.
Yeah, I know.
So
I've missed flights before.
Yeah. Sprinted this 0.5 miles. And I know because my Apple Watch was like, hey, looks like you're sprinting. Shall we record this? And
You're
it
like,
told me
yeah.
my heart rate was through the roof.
I'm not just doing
this
sprints. I'm doing sprints with bags on. Yeah.
Backpack and a
not
rolly.
even sandbags.
And having only slept 4 hours. Oh, and I got drunk the night before. Obviously, it's my last
Obviously.
chance with the fam.
Of course.
So we made it, and with plenty of time because that flight was delayed 2 hours. It was so stupid because we were on a flight. There's like this big old dude in front of me, and then this like little dainty girl behind me, and all of us are
Like me
going
and
to
you.
the same flight. So, and we're like stuck behind people trying to deboard, whatever, deplane,
Deplane, yeah.
and complaining about how we have to get across the airport. And the dainty little woman behind me is like, well, I'm sticking with you because you know where you're going, you're gonna get there. I'm like, you can't keep up with me. I said that to her, like just joking around. And she looked actual hurt. She was like upset by that. Like, okay, I guess that was harsh. I don't know, but it was true because I sprinted. She did long gone in my dust.
You know what? I wish she would have rolled up her sleeves and had like a level sticker on her arm. She was like, watch this.
Watch this. Puts on a what is even running, like those compression arms?
Yeah, the elbow pads or whatever, the elbow sleeves.
Mouth guard for some reason. And then the guy in front of me, he's like, yeah, there's no way I'm getting there. After I'm there huffing and puffing, sit for another 15 minutes, jauntily strolls up and sees me and completely satisfied
with like an ice cream cone.
Yeah, did not rush at all.
It's like in college when you see somebody walk in late to class and they'd be like, sorry, I'm late. And they have like a Dunkin' Donuts, iced coffee and like a cruller, and you're like, really? You're late? And they're like, yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be late, I might as well just be late, So
I'm convinced that is what ran me down so far. Because we landed then in the morning and I had a day of, okay, I didn't get enough sleep, but I'll sit on my laptop and work. But 9 p.m. that night, I just got hit by a bus. And I was like,
really?
ugh. And then I was like, oh no, my broccoli's turned. It went bad in the freezer somehow. And
right,
I'm checking. I'm checking the expiration date, which is several years from now when we still have COVID. And I'm like, this can't be right. And then like, this like weird wash of I discovering I'm in the Matrix, like, and the world like went to a pinhole, and I was like, I have COVID. And then I slept for 12 hours. I woke up, and both my Aura and Whoop said, "You have COVID."
They said it specifically, or they were like, "You might."
They said your respiratory rate is really high and abnormal, and also, this doesn't happen with the flu or allergies or other stuff. You probably have COVID.
Yeah. But then I remember you telling me that, and I remember there was a couple of days where you were like, oh, maybe they're wrong, right?
Okay, so I went to COVID test.
Right.
And
in person.
And the PCR test said, you do not have COVID.
Wow.
And I am then extremely fatigued and feeling like weird chest thing. It's like I still kind of feel it now after. Well, we can get to that. Like when you run in the winter and you got that kind of like burny.
I know exactly. It's like
that.
It's like so cold that it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate
So
that.
I had that, and then also had past tense. I still do, and then just extreme tiredness, dizzy,
Yeah.
like like I did an insane WOD, and my legs are shaky. Except I haven't done anything but lay around and sleep 12 hours. Slept
Right.
another 10. Lived through another few days, and I was like, "That's it. I'm getting retested," and then got a positive result.
Positive. Yeah.
And during that time, I'm sitting outside in, I don't know, low 60-degree weather, opening pop sockets for 4 hours at a time each day.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm convinced that I made myself worse because I thought I didn't have it. I'm like, well, this sucks. Guess I just have a cold.
Regular old cold, classic cold.
The classic.
So, do you feel okay now, or are you still sort of battling your way through
where
it?
are we from symptoms? Because I know you tracked yours.
Well, I was lucky because I knew exactly who gave it to me, and I also sort of tracked. I knew the day that I started feeling crappy because that's when I forget how I figured it out, but maybe I tracked a text message or maybe I something, but and then it just so happened that within the last month, certainly within the last month, but within the last week or two after I got it, everybody I know also got COVID. Within the last month, I think more people have gotten COVID combined than the last 2 years. It personally, for me, anecdotally, people I know. I don't think, in general, I don't know if that's true. But
I don't know what the stats are, but it does feel like I know so many people, or all my friends are like, well, yeah, I got it finally.
So I know exactly who gave it to me. And so then I started tracking down my days so that I could tell you and my other couple of friends.
Which was helpful. I didn't know you tested not positive at first.
So day 0, I was exposed. I ate dinner with Brittany's friend. We get takeout dinner. My friend also. I'm not, that's rude. We get takeout dinner with this girl. Yeah, exactly. We didn't go to a restaurant. We went to a restaurant, but we got takeout food. We didn't go to sitting indoors somewhere or whatever. She comes over. We have dinner. It's fine, whatever. The next day, or 2 days later, she calls us and she's like, hey, just got to let you know, I have a tickle in my throat. I'm going to get tested. Next day she calls. She's like, I'm positive. We're like, crap. That's terrible.
Positive from a tickle?
So by then she was
dying
feeling
of symptoms and they're like, nope, negative.
Well, she also, what happened was the night before she had gone out clubbing.
Similar to running through an airport, I'm sure.
And all of the girls that she went, that the entire group got COVID. And so she was like, I don't feel that bad, but this girl does. And she tested positive, and I'm going to go get tested right now. So I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean? It's a pretty good chance, or pretty good whatever. And so we were like, all right, well, whatever. We just took one on Monday. We're negative, so we'll see what happens. So day 0, I was exposed, right? Day 1, feel nothing. Day 2, feel nothing. Day 3, light symptoms, tickle in my throat, little rundown, like you were saying. And then I took a test and I tested negative, PCR test. And then
you had light symptoms to start. I told you I got hit by a bus. I just knew something was wrong, and then 12 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you probably needed that sleep. You probably still need to just sleep. And
I've been sleeping 10 hours since. I keep waking up and I'm not
your little body's a little factory there, and you got to give your little factory workers some time.
It's small. It is littler too. I keep not eating enough. It sucks.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're wasted. I can barely see you. You're almost 2-dimensional. Don't turn sideways. So day 0 exposed, day 3 symptoms, but tested negative, which sucks because that's what really freaked me out about a lot of this stuff in general, was that I had it because you know what I mean? Looking back on it retrospectively, I know that I had it, but I still tested negative. So
and
Dave,
still, I don't know, went to Ralph's and coughed on people.
Yeah. I just licked all the fruit, vegetables. You know what I mean? Just got to taste it. If it's like, is this a good apple? No. taste the outside of aluminum, all the beer cans, just like ah. So then day 4, I did another test night. That's when I tested positive, and that was a just a take home CVS antigen, one of the $10 ones,
Yeah,
because that's
those are
when
what 50% right.
right.
Go flip a
So
coin,
right.
how
So they're
stupid.
not very reliably. They're not very reliable. But I was positive. Brittany was positive. This other girl was positive. All of her friends were positive. So I was like,
And you felt like crap.
maybe the test isn't that great. But if all of us are getting the same answer, then maybe it
Also, yeah,
works
Occam's
fine.
razor. The easiest solution is probably the solution.
Right.
Like,
Not
that's
the one
what
you
I was saying
want.
to Christine when we both tested negative. I was like, there's no, how did I get not COVID in a pandemic? That's so hard to do. There's no way that that's it.
I know, it's been so bad. But anyway, so then I actually felt pretty crappy for, I would say, 2 to 3 days. I had like a serious cold or a very light flu. I had a cough. I was coughing up gunk. My throat hurt. I had headaches. I didn't have a fever, but I didn't love getting up and walking around. I could do it, and I could, I could drive and I could run and I could do whatever I wanted to. But I definitely felt fatigue. I would walk the dog. We'd run down the street or whatever.
Dang, there was no running from me.
But it wasn't like a fever, flu. Like when you just can't stand up and your head is
did you ever get a fever?
No fever.
Yeah.
And then day 7 or 8, I felt okay, not great. Went back and then after that, so day 7 or 8, I just started scheduling PCR tests just because the take-home ones were all sold out, and I think they still are. I think there's like a big, I don't know if you can get them or not, but I know a lot of the CVS were sold out for a long time.
Mm-hmm. But what are you going to do? If you're isolating, you shouldn't go into CVS anyway. So I never got that.
Yeah, I think I was going to do I put them on my, I did a grocery delivery once or twice or something. In fact, what's funny is I was looking at Postmates last night, and just because I'm, a lazy, I'm a lazy, hungry boy. And I was like, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll search by popularity, just because I don't even know what I want for dinner. I just, let's give me some suggestions. And the most popular, it was like, I'm in my worst case scenario, I'm imagining McDonald's, just because I've seen so many people post McDonald's. It's so easy. It's so stupid. But it wasn't McDonald's. It was CVS, liquor, Walgreens, CVS, pharmacy, liquor, Target. You guys it's just, it's a stupid way to sort Postmates, first of all. Second of all, hey guys, you could take a walk to Walgreens if you really want to, like you can get to the pharmacy or whatever. Who am I to judge, I suppose?
I mean, maybe they were all PCR tests.
Yeah, maybe they're antigen tests or whatever.
Oh yeah, antigen tests, excuse me.
Anyway, so day 7 or 8, I felt okay, tested positive. Day 9, 10, 11, I felt totally fine. Over it completely. Still tested positive. Day 12, I tested positive. And I felt fine. I had felt fine for almost, 5 days, I would say.
You were working out at that point? When did you start working out? Okay.
Well,
how many days off did you take?
Let me track my workouts. I definitely took a day off, or took a week off. I took that week off, but then it sort of bled into Christmas anyway. Like, so that week that I'm talking about is the 20th through the 25th, I would say. Yeah. Or maybe the 15th through the 22 or something like that. Anyway, it sort of bled into. I took about 6 days off of working out.
Not bad.
Just not bad, but it's not good. It's not bad. And well, I think I counted like just week. I counted getting on it. I got on a treadmill and walked because I was really worried about lungs.
Yeah, I still am. Yeah. Convince me I shouldn't be.
I'm happy to. I will compare it to, I used to smoke cigarettes. I think I've told you that. It's the cigarette story. And it felt the exact same way. And it feels to me like, and I know that I haven't I have a bunch of honorary PhDs, but not any real PhDs. Honorary meaning I've given them to myself over the years. But in my opinion, what happens with your lungs is you have to get your lungs in shape a little bit. The reason I say that is I used to smoke cigarettes, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and then it turns into buying a pack of cigarettes, and then, you know what I mean? And then before you know it, you're a smoker. And so for a while, I was a smoker, and I would quit every fall because wrestling would start. And that first practice, you'd feel crap. Your lungs they feel like they're not fully expanding. That thing we were talking about where it's like, it's so cold, it's hot in your lungs. That's exactly what it felt like. You had no endurance. You had strength, but you didn't have endurance. But what I will say, and you just sort of have to go, and I'd work out as hard as I could, sort of sometimes puking, just because like you have to just beat yourself up a little bit.
Dang.
But the next day is 20% better as long as you do it as hard as you possibly can. And the next day is 20% better, and so on and so on. And then
you don't even take a recovery day. You just keep hammering.
just keep hammering.
Push
and
through.
Then about a week or 10 days, your lungs are back, I would say.
Okay.
Now that's doing actual high intensity training, interval training, sprints.
Yeah.
That's high intensity interval training, I guess. So it's doing it in that way where you're really breathing really deep. You're expending as hard as you can and then stopping, then doing it again and then stopping. So when I started
is what I call it.
Puking.
Oh yeah, you said you throw up.
Yeah, you throw up if you need to, if you want to. It's up to you. Dealer's choice. One of the grossest ones ever was my head in college. The heavyweight, he would also play football, and he was an All-American football player. And then he would come to wrestling practice, and he'd be like, so out of shape. And I'm like, didn't you guys just like win something on your All-American football campaign this year? And he's like, yeah, it's like not even a real sport compared to this. And I'm like, this makes no sense. I don't understand.
Wow.
And we would be jogging in a circle, and he would just sort of, he would peel off to the side, bend over a trash can, and just, it's disgusting. And you'd hear it, and you're like, oh God, I think he's puking, and as you're going around the loop, you're like, yep, that's puke. Yep. Oh God, okay. So anyway, and then he would just hop right back in line, like he had dropped. He was throwing something in the trash, like he found a receipt in his pocket that he had to throw away. So anyway, that's what it felt like for sure for me, getting my lungs back in shape. And so that's what I did that first week back. I didn't do my regular routine, which is now typically just been like sort of a more classic low intensity bodybuilding. I'm not sweating a ton. I'm not moving really fast. But what I did was I did a bunch of F45 classes. I did a bunch of the YouTube or the ones on YouTube, whomever decides to do a high intensity interval training on YouTube. And I did that for a week, and it sucked, but it felt exactly like those old wrestling ones. So
I think some assault bike Tabatas are in order for me.
Absolutely. Although,
because I'm thinking like, I'm not over it. I should hold off on going too hard. I've been lifting and walking like crazy.
Yeah.
But maybe it is that I just gotta push through instead of baby.
Well, once you're ready, when you're still sick, it doesn't.
I'm still dizzy
that doesn't
today.
help. Yeah. So I would say wait till you're back to full strength before you try to mold yourself back into something. Because I know that
studio, and I was like,
next time you got to take an Uber. We need to get you an electronic bike there, electric bike, a scooter. We'll get you a scooter.
No, the point is that I want to use that apple that I licked in Ralph's as my fuel.
What we need to do is we need to get you that. Have you seen those ellipticals that have wheels on the bottom?
Of them? I got it. It was like this big investment in a really great Christmas gift for her. And she was like, no, I returned it.
I gotta tell you, I feel like I side with your mom on that one.
I saw
can't
this
believe
TikTok. What?
I can't believe you didn't keep it for yourself after all that.
I know I should have. Actually, I think it might be sitting like in my dad's warehouse somewhere or something.
Just go, and then you can, elliptical
Yeah,
your way
elliptical
back.
around LA. Super cool.
No. You can ride it back from Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah. That would
You
be a
could
great video.
Forrest Gump it real quick.
I ellipticaled across the US. What a stupid freaking thing.
I'd watch it.
Oh, I hate it so much. And I'll wear 80s workout attire.
Yeah. Well, you can do different legs. I mean, you'll have a lot of days to film content.
Yeah,
I don't know how many days you think that will take, but I bet it'll take more than 2.
What do you compare it to? I guess biking, not running.
I mean, they go
between
pretty
biking and running.
fast. As far as I've only seen them sort of
All right, I'm making a
anecdotally
note to
on.
see if this still exists in my family.
Oh boy!
Take
And
a
if
little
not,
bike.
I'll buy you one. If you bike across the world, I'll buy you one. It's like
Okay,
those stupid. We're devolving here into those stupid. Have you heard those famous stories about Vegas poker players who like make these outrageous bets with each other for just to see if they can outdo each other? Like there was one where
you talk about that lunging one.
the guy bet the other guy he couldn't lunge everywhere for like a month, and he lasted. And they went back and forth about terms and how much money and odds, and then he lasted like 2 hours, and he was like, "No."
I guess it's a definitive. That's cool because when you stretch it out and it gets to day 30, and you're like, well, was that one time getting off the toilet really a lunge or whatever?
I know.
Like, glad to know there's no way to do that.
Yeah.
I saw this TikTok and I'm so mad I didn't think of this, but someone invented, I don't even know if it was on TikTok, and I feel bad
sure
that I
it
can't
was.
cite the creator, but someone invented a treadmill, but it had wheels on the bottom, so you could run on your treadmill, but then be outside in the world and appreciate.
It wasn't your
nature.
friend, Alex? Is that his name? The unnecessary inventions guy.
Oh yeah. I don't think it was the unnecessary inventions dude. No, that's not his name. Shoot, why can't I think of it now?
Unnecessary
Maddie.
inventions. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
I mean, close enough. But that's not
I
like
think-
something he would do.
The way he speaks, not to like bag on him or anything, but the way he speaks and his cadence and the way, I don't know if it's like his your on camera voice or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like my friend Alex Mandel. It's
Okay.
bizarre. Like if I close my eyes, I wouldn't be able to tell them apart. It is so creepy, and I maybe that's why I thought it was Alex, because they were just like they're splitting one life or whatever.
One vocal signature.
Yeah, it's like bizarre, and it's sort of a unique. It's like a unique everything. It's cadence, it's accent.
Yeah, they like all match up. That's interesting. It's weird when that happens. How we had Robbie Bent on for that other ship, the Breathwork app.
Yeah.
One of his Breathwork performers sounds just like Will Forte. So now
weird.
Will Forte has been lulling me to sleep for the past 10 days because I'm picturing him like on the stage of SNL being like 5, 4, and out.
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
Bizarre.
I like Will Forte.
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
I just found out there's all these other voices you can put on your Alexa, like Snoop Dogg, and there's somebody else, not Schwarzenegger. It's somebody else, but it's all these other voices. Martha Stewart? I don't know. But it's so weird because to me, Alexa was like her own voice, and now to have somebody else be like, "Yeah, man, I'd love to play that song for you," and I'm like, "Whoa, who is this
person in my home?" Well, and TikTok changed their voices too. There's that one guy. Is he from Brooklyn, Boston? You would know. Everybody's using this new TikTok voice, and he sounds like aggressive.
Oh, I don't know where he's from, but
Mars.
Yeah,
That's how they sound on Mars.
Yeah, they're just little Hada, big tough guys. Anyway, what day are you? Do you have any? Oh wait, well,
Monday,
day
11.
12 I tested positive. Day 15 I eventually tested negative.
Yeah.
After all that,
right.
I will say that Brittany tested negative on day 12, and so she, I guess,
Just
I don't
cleared it
know.
out of her
And
system.
she wasn't sick at all. She was just bored. That was her biggest obstacle. She like cleaned the house. She reorganized our kitchen. She was doing all this. She's like
Wow.
repotting all these plants. And I'm like lying. I'm
Superhuman.
lying in bed like, you know? So, it hits everybody different. But so for
I
me, it
guess so.
was, day 12 testing positive was really sort of a bummer for me. That was a real like,
Yeah.
and then, but I will say that I read about, it was whatever that was 9, 10, 12 days after after exposure, after symptoms, whatever it is, you're no longer shedding, so you're not contagious and blah blah blah. I read about some people that test positive for like months and months and months after getting COVID. So
That's crazy.
it was kind of annoying because it just felt like it would be nice to have a negative test on record, I guess, if I wanted to fly or get into a venue or something. I don't know.
Or have
Nobody
no social
knows.
guilt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, but if I was not contagious, then it's not a thing, and whatever. Anyway, I don't know what the new regulations are going to be on this thing. I can't believe it, how fast I am at whipping out my vaccination, the photo I have on my phone of my vaccination card to get into a place, because I've had to do it so many times.
Yeah. But
So
also that did I mean, I guess it helped. I can't imagine what it would have been like if for anybody who hasn't seen the video, I got vaccinated on my fitness channel. I've been vaccinated, so is Max. So
Yeah.
these symptoms are coming from after having antibodies.
Well, but that's the difference is I felt like crap, but I didn't go to the hospital. I didn't clog up any waiting rooms. I didn't bust into an ER. I didn't take up an ICU bed. I sat at home and watched a lot of TV and ate a bunch of cough drops,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's
the
about
reason
it.
why we've been doing remote duo total fit heads, and now you know why. You were chomping them down that one. I felt bad. I was like, sorry, you got to talk to me for 45 minutes.
Oh, does your throat hurt? Well, try talking into the mic. Yeah, it was a bummer. Cough drops to me were the biggest. That helped the most for sure. And
I went to
Tylenol and all that stuff.
After my negative test, I was in Target. Great.
Yeah.
And all cough drops just sold out. It was just an empty shelf.
No
it was
way.
Crazy. I was like, wow, I guess LA has a sore throat.
Yeah, they sure do. I've been in I was in a CVS on February 14th, and all the flowers were sold out and all the cards were sold out Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And almost all the chocolates. And my personal favorite,
condoms.
All of the women's razors. Oh, well, the condoms are behind the guy, so there's no aisle for that. But
women's razors, that's funny.
I had a good picture of me being like double, thumbs up selfie, and behind me is just an empty aisle. And then I'm like, that's hilarious. And then I'm like, oh wait, nobody knows it's an empty aisle. That's the joke's not really hitting because nobody knows that it's the women's razor aisle or whatever. But I thought it was funny for me, I guess.
Indeed, funny. So when all this started, I was like, oh, I'm one of those people that would have it and not even know it. I wouldn't get any symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
And now after being vaccinated and still feeling like garbage, I'm like, oh, just kidding. You cannot predict based on lifestyle.
I mean, you can predict. That's the other annoying thing is that this is an example of like so many people not understanding statistics, Oh, it's only going to kill, 1% of blah, blah, blah. Or, you know what I mean? It's not going to do, it's only like, it's 100 people out of 10 million, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, well, do you want to be the 1% that gets killed? Or do you like name me 100 people then? If that's so simple.
Do you want to be the reason that one person gets killed?
Yeah. It's not zero and it's not negligible. It's very, very, very small, but it's not, a half of a person, it's people are actually dying. And so when people are like, dude, whatever, I'll just get it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, probably you'll be fine. But what, would you really want to die out of stupidity for a lot of this? You know what I mean? Or is it stupidity or arrogance or ignorance or laziness?
Yeah.
I don't know what to put it as, but like when people would spout numbers at me, I'd be like, oh, okay. And then, oh, it's only the elderly. I'm like, cool. You have a grandma? Can we just ask her? Cause that's what you're saying, right? You know what I mean? Like she,
Think about it.
what's her name? Yeah. I'd be like, what's her name? Like that's put a name on these people,
Yeah.
like it's just so frustrating.
Right.
So anyway, I'm glad that you're not feeling too sick, but it is nice that you had it and you weren't just walking around all willy-nilly. Like, wouldn't you feel like a real heel if like your friend group could somehow trace it back to you? Like I can trace back to my friend.
You want to go clubbing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it also was like, there's no way I'm going anywhere with this normal average cold in the pandemic.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I mean, as much as I'm complaining, being like, well, I was so fatigued and I'm still not myself. Yeah, I'm freaking fine. Like, thank goodness. Yeah. And thank goodness that it was post holiday. No one in my family has anything.
That's awesome. Fine. That's a really good feeling. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
You missed New Year's. You missed New Year's Eve. That's a bummer.
Oh. Well, funny because Christine's birthday is on the 4th.
Yeah.
And we still were supposedly negative at that point, and I was feeling like crap, and Christine was pretending like she didn't feel like crap because it was her birthday. And we drank champagne with COVID.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What's funny is we were making fun of how did it go down? Did you feel crappy, or did you like get super drunk, or how was your hangover?
I had zero desire to drink the champagne. This is how I know something is wrong. I tested the next day. I was like, this is wrong. And for the first time, we had restaurant food and didn't finish it. This is the first time in the 3 years that I've known Christine that we've ever had leftovers. And I'm like, oh no.
Uh-oh.
And then the champagne didn't taste good and I didn't want more. I'm like, no, what is my moderation gene turned on all of a sudden? Something is wrong. So I tested again.
Yeah. Did you lose taste or smell? Actually, I forgot to ask you.
I didn't lose it, but things were off, which also I was like, okay, well, maybe that
does that happen when you're sick? Yeah, that happens to me when I'm sick.
Thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But I knew somebody. No, but my friend had it and he completely lost smell. And he was like, I was like, what does completely mean? He was like, I could eat an onion like an apple. And he has a bait or
wait, onion is just smell? There's no heat or spice involved. It's just smell.
He was like, I was like, you should have done a video. He was like, the other thing I did was he has a very small, he has a kid in diapers. He was like, I could just take a diaper. You're like, nothing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that is so weird. And I'm glad that you only did it once, but that is also amazing. He was like, yeah, so diapers were great for that week. My God. But yeah, some people.
Yeah, I have been sick, really not COVID. Before COVID even was a thing, I've been sick and not been able to taste anything. It's really bizarre.
Oh, weird. That's never happened to me.
It's definitely happened to me multiple times. And it's like, I don't know, you lose some of the spark of life because it's like, what am I doing?
Get it together. Well, okay. So you had champagne. No hangover?
No, I was so busy being sick with COVID that I didn't notice a hangover at all. I'm fine.
Right. Yeah. That was the other thing. Brittany had pneumonia a couple of months ago and she was in the hospital. She hooked her up to IVs. She went in an ambulance and blah, blah, blah. And so this time with COVID, she was like, I mean, yeah, I guess. I'm not in the I'm not in the emergency room. And I'm like,
yeah,
it's great. I guess I'll just go lay down again because I feel like crap. Totally fine. Anyway.
Did it affect you emotionally? I mean, I know you're stuck in the house and you hate that anyway. But I felt like, I don't know. Like I said, I lost that spark. I'm like not motivated to eat or drink or work.
I was definitely depressed for sure. Yeah, getting outside and walking helps a lot.
Depression.
Yeah.
Huh.
walking in the sun helps a lot. And I, got to walk the dogs. That was the really,
I
really
still felt like in a
nice thing.
fog when I was walking. It was like surreal. Like my head was swimming.
I think I didn't feel good, but I
Ugh.
definitely afterwards
believe you
felt
ran.
like that's better. Well, sometimes what's annoying about Jax is when we're walking away from the house, he like drags. He's like, I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then we
Jackson
do
does
a
that too.
loop. And then once we pass that halfway point and he figures out that we're on our way home, he's like, let's go. And he like starts sprinting home and just,
Let's just
to
let him off the leash. Go.
get back. Yeah, I'll meet you there, pal.
Hope you don't go on the street.
Put the kettle on. I'll make some tea, like whatever. It's so he loves like sprinting home and then sprinting right on back under the covers because he's a lazy throw pillow of a dog, you know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, it wasn't bad. I was depressed, no more depressed than I normally am. Or I should say when I am sick. When I'm sick, I'm pretty bummed out. I'm like, man, this sucks. I can't do anything. I have to just sort of lie here and I don't feel a lot of like mental sharpness. So I don't feel like I can like crank out a bunch of work or, write anything or do anything really. I just sort of like, I can do mindless stuff. I can edit, I guess, sort of.
Right? Yeah, even that. But I had no motivation to. This is the first time I've been sick and had emotional symptoms. It was strange.
Really? Well, I would imagine it's a long couple of years of high alert emotional strain for you, and now this is sort of the come down. You're in a
hangover.
You're in like a 2 year game of
decades.
Well, for this, it's you're in a long game of grade school dodgeball, I guess, or whatever, and you're just all your friends are getting picked off, and you're just sort of like, oh my god, when is this game going to be over? And then finally you get hit, and I imagine at some point,
I mean, I will say that first negative test, I was like, well, at least I'm still not a statistic, ha.
Right.
Now
and you're like, I mean, other people can get it, but someone like me, I don't.
Not this year.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that was it. Maybe you were having like a little a release, maybe, and so that was
And back when people were first getting it, it was like, well, now I got it, I can't get it anymore. But that's completely changed. People get it in 2020, 2021, 2022. It's no longer that. Well, at least we got over that speed bump. You're going to hit it sometime. Now it's like, well, you did it right now. And when are you going to get over that speed bump again? Because your immunity will wane.
Right. So it sounds like we got a couple of months of whatever. I hadn't gotten
Let's go clubbing.
I hadn't gotten my booster. My booster was scheduled for the day that we got our positive tests.
That's no good.
So I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and click the old reschedule button. But yeah, it sounds like we got a couple of months of immunity. We can do whatever we want. We can cough.
I mean, that's not true. We're still supposed to mask up and whatever.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, it was a letdown. I wasn't so depressed that I mean, I wasn't. It was hard for me to track depression because I was also depressed about not going home for Christmas. That was a big time because it was second year in a row.
Yeah.
And this was the one where I was like, all right, now we're back. Just kidding, we're not. We'll never be back, or maybe next year. Who knows? It's been a whole.
Yeah. When we have the Zeta variant.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna run out of Greek letters.
Yeah. Start our own alphabet. So you're feeling crappy now, but you're on. Today's the
day 11.
You're on day, I don't know, 10-ish, maybe 8,
11,
10.
And
11?
I haven't even scheduled a retest. I'm gonna make sure that all of this goo coming out is gone.
Yeah.
And that I don't know about the fatigue though. Maybe that's just something I gotta Tabata through.
Definitely Tabata through, but I would say wait until you're feeling back to full strength.
Well, this week, thank goodness, I do believe Brian Borstein knew that I would be getting sick, and he programmed a deload. So
what
I've
a
been
guy
still working out. I know, what a sweetheart.
What
And
a
by
guy.
this, I mean, I don't have him as a personal trainer. I'm using whatever he sends out to everyone.
Right.
But it happened to be a deload week. And so basically the week of lifting is half the weight and then half the number of sets too, right? So I've been doing that and it feels like I'm maxing out.
Yeah. I will say I walked and I would do sort of like some light stretching, which for me is insane. And anything like that helped a ton. So I feel like even if you feel silly doing half the weight and feeling like you're getting run into the ground, totally worth it. And it totally helps. And it definitely helps to keep everything moving.
Honestly, this podcast is helping me right now. When I got up to come here, I was swimming again and my head was like dizzy and my legs are feeling that whatever, but just engaging with you via my new camera, which by the way, Fitheads, have we noticed that I look better now?
As if she could look any better. She somehow figured out a way.
And that way is a
higher
birthday present from my brother,
right.
who had this mailed to me. Thanks, Drew. He doesn't listen to this podcast.
Shout out, Drew.
But anyway, yeah, this is helping, just like emotionally engaging. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do it. Anybody else needs it, I'm a Zoom call away.
Hit us up. Oh, I've also been this is my 10th day of breath work, which I committed to Robbie's app that they
nice.
launched.
How's it going?
Good. It's weird. Well, I mean, I'm talking about it in a video and documenting the committing to the 10 days. I like it way better than when I did 10 days of meditation.
Really?
And
are you doing like that intense breathing? Like the
So no, I haven't done any of the up, any of the shut off your head and sympathetic. I've only been doing the like relax and heal because of COVID, But it's been interesting because all of my scores now, when I wake up, I have green Whoop scores, like really, like my aura is saying you've slept great and you deserve a crown today. And I still feel sick. So I don't know if this breath work is just helping my HRV so much. It's just surprising.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know. But
that's it. I mean, it's fun. What was that one? The ice bath ones I used to do. I forget what they're called. The Wim Hof ones.
Yeah.
Those are the up ones are weird.
Do you get tingly and stuff? You would do it in an ice bath or just?
You do it in conjunction with an ice bath. You do it right before. Ice bath, they just say like get in and breathe as normally as you can because it's already such a sensory overload. But you also, before and after and sort of somewhere involved in it, you do those up breaths where you're like essentially hyperventilating for 2 minutes. It's a weird one. I can't figure out if I like it or if I don't like it or what, like for me, the long-term benefits are, if there are any. I mean, it's just felt so odd. And it felt like a way to sort of trick somebody into thinking like they were doing something. And I don't really want to like, make fun of Wim Hof too much because I'm sure like a lot of people feel like it helps, but it felt like he was sort of tricking people into thinking they were doing something because they were hyperventilating. Yeah, kind of like the way where you do a workout and you get really sweaty. That tricks a lot of people into thinking you're targeting
but then the
fat
placebo
loss.
effect will take over and their body will actually.
Right, so maybe that's true. Maybe I need to be more of a believer. But
I did test out one of his protocols that supposedly, whatever it was, I forget. It's like holding your breath or breathing really heavily. There's a video on my channel where I do this, and supposedly he does it and can do double his max push-ups, like a marked difference for his max number of reps, and mine were exactly the same. I did the test and I was equally as strong.
That's pretty good. You didn't get any weaker.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, there are some scientific there's some sort of genetic, scientific, biological, whatever. Like if you're about to hold your breath and you hyperventilate right before, you can hold your breath for longer. That stuff makes sense. So if he hyperventilates and then does an exercise, he could probably do more. Now, could he do a heavier one? I don't know. Was he faking it for a video? I don't know. like there's some ways.
Did I do it wrong and that actually
Yeah.
scientifically works? Yeah.
Is it a slight difference? And no, you can't run up Everest in your underwear like he's saying you can. You know what
He's
I mean?
also a genetic freak, right? They established that he has too much brown fat or something.
He's something. I'm remembering
He's
these pictures of
special.
him in a lab where he's like up to his neck in some
Yeah.
water, and the guy on the clipboard's like, "What in the world?" That's
You should look on David Blaine.
yeah, that's
They're the same
probably
person.
that's the
Yeah.
trick. In a 40-year long trick. Yeah.
We gotta go visit Robbie and try out his stuff.
Oh, definitely. Well, I thought they were opening an LA one.
Oh, they better. That'd be great.
Better. That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't know. What can I say?
To me, though, and well, speaking of things that don't make any scientific sense, I would love to
my
see if you could feel like you can get your lungs back in shape, whatever that means.
Yeah, that'd be.
I feel like I
you know,
can.
like coming back from COVID, and I'll document that Tabata process. All right,
Yeah, that's
I'll do
really
that
interesting.
starting tomorrow.
Well,
Oh,
wait
what I
a
was
couple
gonna say.
days.
Fine. But you recovered faster and mad about it. You also whatever.
Well, not as fast as Brittany. There's always a faster.
Yeah, I know, right? There's always somebody better. Or that person who just couldn't smell for a week and didn't know. The thing about science, just the idea, like think about it.
Yeah.
If you're running from a lion, you can't breathe slowly. If you're in danger, you're never going to breathe slow and plodding along. So the idea of activating my parasympathetic nervous system by doing that makes sense.
Sure.
But who knows?
Who knows? But it's the same thing. And I think I am probably too much of a cynic. I err on the cynical side way too much for my own good in fitness and in life. Like whenever someone says, like how cavemen blank, blah, blah, blah. I'm always like, yeah, cool. Hey, are you wearing shoes right now? And then they're like, dude, what? That doesn't like. What are you talking? That doesn't have anything to do with anything. I'm like, no, I know. I'm just wondering if you're wearing shoes.
Well, they're called Vibrams, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I made it myself, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bought a pair of Chris
toes.
Duffins.
Oh, Chris Duffin ones. The toes ones. Yeah.
He's got toe socks with grippy on the bottom.
Yeah.
I've been using them for powerlifting. You see my feet like spread apart.
That's crazy. They're good for yoga, as I understand it.
Yeah, or going to a trampoline park or getting laughed at.
or regaining your virginity. Oh. I always used to want to wear them because when I used to love doing hot yoga, but I would get so unbelievably sweaty that I couldn't do a plank on my hands and feet. My feet would just slip back, and I'm like, wow, this is as if this couldn't be more embarrassing. One, furball guy in a room full of 100-pound blonde girls, and I'm sweating buckets around and like grunting because I can't touch my toes. Let's throw on a gallon of sweat and feet slipping on top of it just to really,
Yeah, so then you can just put your grippy socks on and come back to being cool.
And I'm like, sup, ladies? Yeah. Grippy socks. You should try.
All right. Well, glad you're feeling better. Come work out in my gym now that you can. And
why did you cough on all the barbells?
No, I mean, now that we're immune, we could just hang out and do stuff.
Sweet, yeah. I'm down. I'm in the middle of a very serious bodybuilding cycle here. And I basically just watch Brian Borstein's Instagram stories and do exactly what he does. And I'm like, cool, that's it. That's what I'm doing. It's great.
According to his Instagram, he's just always doing lats.
You know what else is crazy about Brian Borstein? And I'll call him out on this. The guy wears sweatpants, no shirt, and a ski hat.
I just imagine he takes the shirt off to show the blood pooling for me, who is fascinated by this in Instagram.
That's true. That is polite.
He's been showing how he targets a muscle so close that he'll be pulling with his back, but only hitting
lower
his
lat. Yeah.
lower lat, and knowing that he's hitting it because it's all red and the rest of him is stark white in the cold.
Well, no, you see it. Like
Yeah.
he does what he does is he'll usually do 2 Instagram stories back to back. So that's 30 seconds. So in the beginning and then at the very end, and I did the same thing the other day and it did the exact same thing. So I completely agree with it. I'm
I
a
love
believer
that we
for
both
sure.
are obsessed with this.
And by the end of the set or the second Instagram story, however long that is, that's how I measure things now as in Instagram story iterations. Sure. It's like it's noticeably redder. It absolutely is. Don't you think? I mean, I feel like I see it. Maybe it's just like
I'm sure I don't because I can't target for crap. I just use all my traps for everything. I don't know how I'm using my traps for a squat, but I did, and now they're sore. Great.
It's a squat, here. But you're sitting on your hands.
Oh, now that we're on the subject of Brian Borstein, which we hit on every episode,
it's a real rarity that we talk about.
Listening, he heard us.
I know one episode. That poor guy. We're like Brian says, and he's like, what?
Me again?
Me again?
It's just us listening to the Brian Borstein podcast and then recapping it. That's what our podcast is.
Live react podcast.
Oh, he's talking about nutrition. Okay,
totally worth
anyway, I'm going to hit him up for personalized training because I'm doing his stuff right now and I'm trying to fit in not failing at this muscle up over the year. So I have to get a tattoo.
I forgot about that.
I did not forget about this. And so I've lost I was doing maybe 3 ring pull-ups confidently. Gone now because COVID, obviously.
Bummer. That was all part of my plan, by the way. We inked this bet, and then I was like, "Oh, you should definitely go on a plane. You should do a connecting red eye flight for sure."
Get sick and lose all of your gymnastic ability. God, I don't even know about dips. I've been doing transition work. Anyway, I don't know how to fit it in. I'm so scared about this. I'm going to pay Brian to give me programming so I can get this muscle up.
Totally worth it. I can't wait to see it. And if not, I can't wait for you to get your neck tattoo. Let's not get crazy. It'll be a neck. I'm not going to do your face. You get to
pick the tattoo. I pick the location.
But I get to pick the size.
The location is on your face.
The size of the tattoo is the exact shape of your body.
Oh, goddamn. Yeah, no, it was the first week, and I'm the first week into 2022, and I'm already freaking out about this and trying to fit in muscle up practice while I have COVID.
You can already do one, so I don't know why you can already almost do one, so I don't know why you're freaking out.
Okay, well, that's not true because I can do this and I can do this, but from here to here is incredibly hard.
Just do the stretchy band on your feet. Doesn't that help it?
I am not strong enough even with the stretchy band on my feet.
Well, I think we know a guy who sells stretchy bands, and I'm sure he can get you a big fat one that'll just launch you through your ceiling accidentally. You try your first one, and then you just then you're in the living room, and you're like, "Oh, hey, sorry." Anyway, can't wait to see your tattoo. Your celebratory "I did it" tattoo.
I can't believe I'm giving up on January 10th for my resolution. It's like, it's too late.
I can't believe we were making fun of those poker players for ridiculous bets, and then we seamlessly transition into our bet of if you can't do a muscle up in a year, I get to choose a tattoo for you and size of tattoo.
The only difference is we don't have fortunes, but we have just as dumb ideas. Excellent.
I don't think they bet a ton of money. I think they just they're doing it to mess with each other, which is obviously
it's an ego thing. Yeah,
the best type of friendship, of course.
Anyway, so definitely moving forward with that. Can't wait. All right. Well, glad you're feeling better. I'll keep you updated.
Good. You're probably about 5 days away from back to normal.
Oh yeah, right. I'm only 1 test and 5 days away from coughing on people and Ralph's again.
Yeah, sounds good. That's the dream.
All right, and hope you're feeling great out there, fit heads. If you're not, hopefully you enjoyed at least laying in bed listening to this podcast. Take it easy. Don't push yourself until you have to, obviously, and then listen to Max's protocol.
Yeah.
PhD Max.
Yeah.
And if you like this, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts because that helps us out a whole lot. And we will see you next week.